Hi, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that's a little bit more general in the criminal defense world, but it's something that people ask me all the time as soon as they find out that I do criminal defense work. And the question is this: do you represent guilty people? And if you do you know they're guilty? So I'm going to let you in on the secret. I do represent guilty people. In fact, all criminal defense attorneys do. That's a big part of our job. Do we know they're guilty? Well, it's kind of an interesting term because guilty, not guilty, well, that's a decision that's really not made until the end of a trial, right? But yes, sometimes we do know that people are quote unquote guilty of some things. Other times we don't necessarily know the truth about what happened. And that's the nature of a lot of criminal cases. But that's not really the point. I think a lot of people are wondering, how do you morally represent somebody that you know is guilty? And what does that even mean? So I wanted to take some time to answer that. I think it's super important. I know people are kind of talking about it in a way that's like more salacious, like we know a secret of something and will not tell the truth about it. Well, kind of. I mean, of course, clients do have a privilege with their attorneys, and we can't disclose anything that our clients tell us. But we also can't allow our clients to perjure themselves and lie. So there's always a balance about what the attorneys know, what the truth is, and what the evidence shows, right? So all of those factor into how we defend any case. But before I kind of get into what types of clients we know are guilty, what types of clients we don't know are guilty, let's talk a little bit about why it matters. I know that there's this common stereotype that criminal defense attorneys are doing kind of unsavory work. Let's just put it that way. Because there's people that do bad things and we're helping them not get in trouble, potentially. Or we're helping them get less consequences for what they did. And perhaps that's wrong. Well, I can certainly understand that perspective, but we have to kind of take it a little bit further back and look at the ideas of the Constitution, of course. Everybody that's accused of a crime, everybody that goes through the justice system, every citizen in America deserves to have certain rights. And they're so important, obviously. I don't need to tell you that they're in the Constitution. So due process, the right to a fair trial, the right to effective representation, all of these things that cover criminal cases, because it's so easy to violate those kind of rights if you didn't have them in stone there. And what I mean by that is when you have a person that, let's say we quote unquote know they're guilty, we know they did it, it's obvious, the evidence is overwhelming. Why do we even have to go through the process of a trial, of discovery, of arguing these things, of putting it before a jury or a judge? Well, the reason is because we have to make sure that the whole system is fair, that the whole process is fair, not just for that one person who maybe we think is guilty or maybe it's not even in dispute, but for everybody. And it's not just about are you guilty or are you not guilty, but also about what should your punishment be? Because obviously that's a huge question. Even if someone did something wrong, and people make mistakes in their life, maybe they're a small mistake, maybe it's a huge mistake, there still has to be a decision about what's appropriate to punish them. So just because somebody is guilty, they, first of all, can absolutely be helped by a defense attorney. And that doesn't mean that they're always going to get off 100% and get fully acquitted of everything. But it could mean that there are things that maybe they didn't even realize were wrong with the case, wrong with the investigation, things that were not really fair, and that they do get some credit for. So that's the biggest thing I think is part of our job, is to make sure that not just to win every case and get people off of wrongdoing, but sure, I mean, that's part of our job as well. But really, we want to make sure it's fair for everyone. And that comes from the prosecutorial side. I was a former prosecutor. We do defense work now, but if you're doing it right, if you're an attorney in the criminal justice system, I truly think that you want fairness overall. Of course, people want to win their cases, but if you're really doing it right, you're looking for fairness. And fairness means that the process plays itself out, that the evidence that's admissible comes in, that all of the information that is appropriate for the fact finder, whether that's a jury or a judge, comes in and is looked at, so that there can be the closest determination of an answer. And the truth is that even as criminal defense attorneys, we don't really know the truth. Just like nobody does if they weren't there. We do our best to get there by looking at the evidence, by looking at the surrounding circumstances, by talking to our client. But in a lot of circumstances, the truth will be something that we'll never really know for certain. But that's not our job as lawyers. We put it to fact finders. They have standards of proof that they use to make their best decision. And we hope that that gets us closest to the truth and gets us closest to the outcome that's fair, whether that means someone's found guilty of everything, of some things, of nothing, whether that means they're punished to the maximum or something more in the middle. That's all the type of thing that criminal defense attorneys work on every single day. So yes, of course, we do represent guilty people. We do represent innocent people. We do represent people that maybe will never really know the truth or something in the middle. That all covers the gamut there. I encourage anybody that has ever been accused of anything, whether you know you did it, whether it's a misunderstanding, whether you're totally innocent, whether you kind of are guilty of something, all of that, doesn't matter what your situation is, you should talk to a lawyer, of course, if you're in any sort of legal trouble. And even if the answer is that you are guilty and you need to be punished, make sure that it's fair. That's what we do. So I hope that makes sense. I find this profession to be quite noble, even if other people find it more scummy. But I don't think of it that way. I think that everybody deserves to have a defense, and God forbid you find yourself in that position as an innocent person, you're gonna be understanding what I'm saying even more than ever. But even if you're not innocent, make sure you get some help and get yourself through the process as fairly as possible. So I hope that makes sense and helps you out understanding a little bit more about our motivations on the defense side, the dark side as they call it. Talk to you soon.